In this video, we're going to talk about how to merge SPSS files. So what I've got here on the screen are two files open. We've got on the left, we've got our test file that we created that just has some anthropomorphic data of height, weight, waist. And then on the right-hand side, we've got another file, and our variable of interest here is this cache choice task and how people maybe inhibit choices. So I want to bring this into this file here. So there's a few ways I can do this. The simplest way is to me the cleanest way is to start cleaning up your data beforehand. So what I like to do is, so in this file on the left, I'll call this the original file. This is where I want to bring everything in. I've already renamed one of the variables ID, so I have to make sure that I have this same variable here named ID. So this is that it was this long title, but I'm going to call it ID in both, so I absolutely have to do that. But some of these other things, I don't necessarily need to bring this in because I already have gender in this old data file. The age I have in the old data file. So I'm going to just delete these to make it a little simpler. Delete these variables. Actually clear. And then the other thing that I'll do is at the beginning of this data set, there's a bunch of 4 variables that I don't really need in this situation. So what I'll do is just delete these variables. And what I would always do when you're deleting variables, make sure you have a backup copy of this file. So I'm not going to save this file. I have a backup copy of this. So when I go to merge it, I won't ever overwrite my final backup copy. So I'm going to get rid of these variables that I don't need, and at the same thing at the end of this file, there's collection title, study cohort name, event name, and I don't need those variables either. So I just basically need these 2 variables. So now that's much simpler to bring into this file, and I might even shorten this name. It's kind of a long name, but for now I'll just leave this. So the important thing is you're going to bring in data into a certain file. So where you're going to bring it, you have to start the process. So what I'm going to do is go to the data step in the file I want to bring the data. I'm going to go merge files and then add variables. So I'm adding variables. All right, and it will ask me which data set do you want to use. So I've got a few actually open someplace else, but I'll bring the one that I was just cleaning up, and it gives you this little bit wizard, but I like to go to variables, and in the variables, an important thing is make sure you have this key variable, this ID as key variable. So what that does is it keys everything to that ID. So if one person is number 1 in one data set, that person will be number 1 in the second data set, and you'll merge all of that person's data together using this ID file. So that's what tells SPSS who's who in the data file. So make sure you bring that in, and then here it shows the included files. So by cleaning it up beforehand, I have a very small list of included files. So it makes it a little bit easier when I bring this in. If I didn't clean up the list beforehand, I would have that long list, a lot of variables that I don't need, and I could just simply whatever variables I don't need, bring it back over to the left side. So what variables I want to keep are over here, and then what I don't need, I'll just put excluded. So again, the most important thing is this key variable is ID. Don't have multiple key variables. That will, if let's say gender was a key variable, what it does is it thinks all females are the same person as all females in the other database. Or so make sure that your key variable is one variable that's unique to each person. So then I'll just hit OK. I might get a message. It actually didn't give me the scary message, but so now with this original file, it brought in this new variable from my other file. So that's the simplest way to do it, is clean up the data file beforehand. I've closed this. I'm not going to save it, but I already have a backup of this as well. So important thing, back it up if you're going to delete variables.